Comments here from Mike Stibbs.
Hi, Stibbs.
I would leave in the middle of a no-hitter for Jessica Biel, but I would not leave during a perfect game. That's history, babe. It's a great point.
I respect it.
I don't know if he was I can't remember if he was throwing a no-hitter or a perfect game. It feels like since it was a movie, it was probably a perfect game.
Perfect game at the Cape's gonna get you noticed.
Well, you don't see. There were some scouts there that night because remember he wasn't supposed to pitch. It was supposed to be the big wig who got kicked off the team, but he burned down the press box. Right. Kicked off the team. You don't see no hitters idolized in movies. It's always perfect games.
Yeah.
Where's my love for no hitters? It's too conventional to throw a perfect game in a movie. I'd like to see somebody throw a no hitter and walk 4 guys. I'd like to see him Gage Wood it. You know what I mean? I'd like to see that in a movie. Nobody would make a movie about that though because it's not a perfect game. Now, if Gage Wood wouldn't have hit that guy on the foot, maybe that's a movie. Probably not though. It was against Murray State in an elimination game.
Yeah.
But maybe if it was a perfect game. Definitely not now, though. 19 strikeouts doesn't matter. You didn't throw a perfect game. I mean, I just think we have too high of standards for these pitchers in movies. If you don't throw a perfect game, you're not even included. Their story's not even included. That's ridiculous. You either have to win 20 games like you're the 2002 A's, or you have to, throw a perfect game. That's pretty much every baseball movie.
Too high a standard.
Or do a suicide squeeze. Sandlot, right? And Major League.
Yes.
So that's good. I'm glad those plays are idolized in movies.
How did
what is the most idolized sports play or sports occurrence in a movie? Like or most what's the right way to frame this? Like recurring sports thing that happens in a movie. And I'm not talking about like kissing the girl afterwards because that's like number 1, obviously. But like sports related item. Big home run.
Maybe that home run in The Natural where the lights started exploding.
I also that was I think a one-time thing. That was I think a one-time thing. I mean it's probably the home run. Right? You hit the big home run.
Yeah.
Home runs are really talked about in movies. No hitters, nobody cares. Strikeouts, nobody cares.
I was going to ask, how did Mr. 3000 end?
Mr. 3000 bunted.
Yeah, he bunted,
Mr.
Right?
3000 bunted.
Wasn't a squeeze or anything like that, but
no, it might have been a squeeze. Because it couldn't have been a squeeze because he got thrown out at first, right? It was a sacrifice.
Right.
But I thought they won the game on that play. Oh, I'd have to remember. I don't know. I'd like that movie though.
You do. That's why I brought it up.
And that was a movie where the home run was minimized because T-Rex Pennebaker was hitting them things all across the yard. He was on the cover of the video game, and nobody cared about T-Rex Pennebaker because he was a selfish jerk. It's all about Stan the man. Trying to get what? What do you need? 7 more hits?
Yes.
You need 7 more hits to get to 3,000.
A clerical error reveals he only had 2,997 hits.
Okay, so you need 3 more hits. All right, a couple comments.
Stib says buzzer beater.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're doing a basketball movie, it's probably ending on a buzzer beater.
Yeah. I mean, what did they hit a buzzer beater at the end of Coach Carter? They won.
I would have to look it up.
And they won. You could look it up. I can't remember how they won though. Like, because it's never like they never win like 76-66 and they're shooting free throws at the end. That's never happening.
The movie Coach Carter ends with the Richmond Oilers basketball team losing their state quarterfinal game to St. Francis.
Oh, they lost.
Yeah.
Oh, that was like Friday Night Lights.
Yeah, a little Rocky in there. Spoiler alert for Rocky.
I remember going to Friday Night Lights in the movies and I was flabbergasted. It was the first time I had ever seen the team not win.
It's a sports movie.
I was like, what? He's short? This is horrific. I was like it was gut wrenching.
Imagine losing the Super Bowl like that.
Some don't have to imagine, Josh.
That's right.
Some don't have to imagine.
Wake up and it replays in your mind every day.
Kenneth says something that always occurs that really irritates me is when there's a play-by-play voice that's being broadcasted over the PA system.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Now, that doesn't happen in semi-pro. They have broadcasters for that. They just play it over the movie. How do they win in semi-pro? It's a buzzer beater, right? Because it knocks in off the top. Because Will Ferrell dies and he gets knocked out. He dies. He goes to heaven and he sees his mom, and he comes back, and
the movie culminates in a final game.
It's the alley oop.
Yeah, where the Tropics, after
You can't
inventing
just
the
go
alley
flying
oop,
through the air like that.
win
Foul.
against the Spurs.
I mean, 2 fouls
with a buzzer beating shot by Monix.
Ed Monix.
However, the team still disbands due to the merger.
They did, but Will Ferrell, Jackie Moon got to make his album, right?
That's right.
Love Me Sexy.
Won't you love me sexy?
TC.
Hi, TC.
Wasn't the movie called Pitch Perfect? It had to be a perfect game. I think that was more about the pitch.
Some would say it was perfect.
Yeah, Stib says buzzer beaters. Lots of buzzer beaters. It probably is a buzzer. Like, I guess you're really getting down to the question of, do you have more basketball movies or do you have more baseball movies? I guess there's more baseball results. The only way a basketball movie can end is a buzzer beater, right?
Yeah.
That's pretty much the only way a basketball movie can end.
Because where's the dramatic tension in a, like, oh, hey, we need to, they're going to start fouling us, okay? Because we're up with like 40 seconds to go. We're up 6.
How did Rookie of the Year ended where he floated it, right? He got Hito out. Say hi to mommy. That was, and he had like he had the sand hands.
Oh yeah,
and he like sanded
every
the bat.
Yeah.
Hi to mommy. And then the mom, Pico Armstrong's mom, was like, floated. And he floated it, and guess what? He missed. That big dumb idiot. That's how that was. I am surprised at how many appearances we have of Bunting on this list, though. Pretty good.
More than you would think.
Matthew writes in,
Hi, Matthew.
Not a fan of sports movies.
Oh.
Well,
really?
you probably don't enjoy this conversation very much. Admittedly, I mean, as you know, my depth of movie knowledge isn't great, Josh, but
I am aware.
I don't know. I feel good about myself and what I've brought to this situation, this conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. Proud of you.
What about football plays? Colin writes in, the staple of football plays is awesome play calls. I think that's right. Annexation of Puerto Rico. What happens at the end of Waterboy? I know the Mud Dogs win the Bourbon Bowl.
Remember that time Bobby Boucher came back at halftime and the Mud Dogs won the Bourbon Bowl?
I do remember that, but how?
Waterboy.
Yeah. I love your Google search history has to be out of control on this segment.
Bobby and Vicky get married. And
no, but like
I know that.
Before that.
The Mud Dogs won the Bourbon Bowl against the Cougars in a 30-27 victory, just as Vicky predicted.
She was the devil.
Fake field goal, Kenneth says.
Fake field goal? Halfback pass. Interesting.
I don't remember that.
Man, I don't either.
I trust you guys are right.
Yeah, I think that's right, but I don't remember that.
I have the last play from Waterboy.
Of course you do. A couple tweets here from Scott and that guy.
Hi, Scott and that guy.
Teen Wolf ends in a free throw.
It does. It also ends with a naked man in the stands.
How do you have a game-winning free throw? Nick writes in on Twitter.
Hi, Nick.
A basketball movie where the last 90 seconds of the game takes 40 minutes of real time to finish due to the other team in the movie fouling would be cinematic. They should do that like real life. That's what happens at the end of NCAA tournament games, right?
It's true.
Before we get to all the great moments in NCAA tournament history, remember that one time, number 23 in 23's old arena? You hit that shot. Mm-hmm. They forgot about all the times when they would just foul them to death. I don't think that happened.
Bobby Boucher recovers the onside kick. And then sportsmanlike conduct penalty. iceberg water.
Oh, that's right, because he was dead.
Yeah, he was dead.
Yeah.
Fast forward a little bit.
That's some high quality H2O.
And crowd cheers. Gets back up. There's 7 seconds left. Henry Winkler's calling the play.
That dude had it going too. He had that motion, as the kids say, because what's his name tried to steal his playbook.
That's right.
He did steal his playbook. He was looking at him from across the field.
Bobby Boucher in at halfback last game of the year. Brett can't hold anything back. The pitch to Boucher.
How many people does he run over?
I believe it's an end around here. I believe Boucher. Does he pitch it or throw it? Well, I guess someone said halfback pass.
The thing that I remember about Bobby Boucher when he had the football was that he would make crazy noises.
That's all. I think they ran Black 41 flash reverse.
Nice. Mike Stuntz. Who was Mike Stuntz in that? Like Chris writes in the text line, you never see a movie with a fullback dive play.
True. 3 yards in a cloud of dust.
Yeah, I mean, Friday Night was all about the Homer, those guys. But Mike Mitchell was kind of like a fullback. I mean, he was running, and he was the one who ended up short at the goal line. He was quarterback. But he wore number 20 something, and it just never felt like he was going to play. Like those schools were recruiting him, Kansas Wesleyan or whatever. It never felt like to me Mike Winchell was going to go play college quarterback. He was probably going to have to move to linebacker in order to play college football.
Mhm.
But I don't know how Mike Winchell's career turned out. Mike Winchell was a real guy. Doc writes in.
What's up, Doc?
Do they even make sports movies anymore? What was the last one that they made?
Oh,
Space
wow.
Jam 2? Is that even a sports movie? Great question.
The last one that comes to mind is
when was the last time? They don't make like those kind of kids Disney-ish magical
No.
sports movies anymore. I guess they've all kind of been done by this point.
Where was Ben Affleck, the basketball coach? The Way Back in 2020?
The Way Back? That's what it was called?
Yeah, that cannot be the last sports movie that was
How
made.
about Uncut Gems?
Uncut Gems.
Uncut Gems?
Challengers from last year. That was a tennis movie. Iron Claw, wrestling.
Okay. And we had King Richard, tennis movie.
Mm-hmm.
But kind of about just Will Smith, Okay. All right. Good. I don't know the answer to that question, Doc. For the 402, Trouble with the Curve is terrible, but Amy Adams is very hot in that movie. That's productive to this conversation. Thanks. Also from the 402, is Teen Wolf considered a basketball movie? Great question. I haven't seen Teen Wolf. I don't know.
Yeah.
I did not know that movie ended on a free throw. That is
does.
despicable, actually. Oh, Jason writes in F1.
Yeah, F1 was a sports movie. Yeah.
And Happy Gilmore 2 is coming out at some point.
It is sometime this month.
Some point.
Subway has promotional cups.
Dan Patrick will tell you all about it.
Yeah. Thank you, Dan.
All right. I don't know how we did that segment, but I liked it. I mean, that was not in the plans today.
Oh, I liked it.
Yeah. If anybody comes up with more good endings to sports movies or things that occur in sports movies, just send them our way.
Yeah, it doesn't.
So we could write a script by now with all the things that we've had. If we told AI or whatever or Grok to write a screenplay for a sports movie by just accumulating all of the other sports movies, that could be done in a hurry.
We could rush it into production.
If we really could, as they're doing these days.
Get it out for Oscar season.
Jeff writes in, bring back cheesy sports movies. I agree.
Yeah.
There is something like inherently 90s about it, though, that I just don't know if you could recreate it. Mm-hmm. Everything that comes out now feels like a Netflix movie, and it's not, something about the big screen. Because if they made a sports movie today, it would be a Netflix movie, and it would be horrible.
Like Kevin James in that
in the Sean Payton movie.
Yeah.
Who would be the dad in the the overbearing dad in the sports movie today?
Oh,
Efron.
Ed O'Neill.
Ed O'Neill, a little older.
Maybe a little too old.
I'd be the overbearing grandpa.
Yeah.
At this point.
We
have to come up with give me an older upper 30s, 40 guy.
Yeah, we got to cast this thing. Maybe John Hamm. What do you think about John Hamm as your overbearing dad?
John Hamm could do it.
Yeah.
John Hamm.
Might need a little hair and makeup.
John Hamm was a superstar whatever sport player, and he wants his kid to have the same. That sounds like a bad movie to me. Pedro writes in, "Hi guys, Boogie Nights. Not a sports movie.
Different sport.
Not a sport at all, Josh, I would say."
Okay.
Kenneth writes in,
Kenneth?
Pedro Pascal, no doubt. Pedro Pascal, no doubt.
Yeah.
There's your guy right there. All right, time for the odd news. Fun on 1620 The Zone.
The Connor Happer Show. Follow us on Twitter @Happer Show for all the latest news and views. We may even say something interesting once in a while.
Unlikely.
Really, guys?